afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacaster. I'm your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland, off tier 1 vs 1 on Faymonville Approach. In the north, we got Findeed fighting for the Oberkommando West, Germany, Deutschland, the 12th SS Panzerdivision Hitlerjugend with Overwatch, double infantry and 1 Obersoldaten vs. in the east. We got CreativeName fighting for the King country, the Commonwealth, the 11th Armoured, with Royal Artillery, Mobile Assault, and Royal Engineers with triple infantry sections here for him, stepping out into double sections as Findeed goes for those ever, used full grenadiers. Sturmpioneers rushing for the south point, setting up an aggressive posture here so they can quickly begin shooting anyone who gets a bit too close here, and so that way, use their most effective range, hopefully. Section going in pretty aggressively there for CreativeName, clearly not worried about running into some Sturmpioneers in awkward pace, probably expecting him to be around the fuel point, in which case this works out nicely. Of course, Hat say he been hiding around here. The section moving forced around. In this case, he's disrupting the grabbing of the fuel point. If also from the north, but still slowing down Findeed's fuel income. Then again, he's not getting much either in that sense either. Sturmpioneers only being taken out though by the section. Really good early engagement of CreativeName. Even he's forced to retreat, he lost none. Whereas Findeed lost, 3 Sturmpioneers. I mean, that's pretty good. Findeed following up here with the Kulbank to provide a bit of motorization for his forces. In this case, mostly reconnaissance and such. Sturmpioneers going to be enforcing here. That's going to be 90 munitions gone. Section moving ahead here. Other section more or less good to go. Of course, he might want to get up some medical supplies to heal them up. In the south, section immediately retreating. Basically thinking he's done his part here in the south to disrupt Findeed's early game, pushing a bit back as he heads northwards. Or there might be some other sort of, reasoning here by CreativeName. CreativeName mobilized, setting out for the German army, Das Vaterland. 12th SS was named because it was drawn from the Hitlerjugend, a sort of a paramilitary youth organization. They're technically not the only sort of organization for young people to go through in terms of military style before they end up in the army. There's also the Reichsarbeitsdienst. Slightly mispronounced that one, where people just put to work there and sort of under a military organization. That sense serving as a bit of pre-military training as well. In fact, during Normandy, a bunch of Reichsarbeitsdienst people were drawn into the Wehrmacht act as replacements for casualties. Section A versus Fulton, we've got 4 sections after CreativeName. Sturmpioneers opening up here. Not the best house really for them to fight in, partly because again enemies can stay at range, but also more importantly they can only fire 1 assault rifle at a time, which is really ineffective. I mean, the only unit that sort of really benefit from these houses with only 1 window at the side is essentially heavy machine gun teams. Maybe light machine gun teams as well, but Sturmpioneers and other infantry units tend not to do too well there. So that's a bit of a rout there for Findeed up north here. Standoff by the fuel point there. Kuban seizing a lot high up north for Findeed for the German army. Section setting out here in the south point, letting secured. Healing there and sandbags up for CreativeName section. There we go, push combined with Kulwagen, very nice push here by Findeed. There's only a single Volksgrenadier, who is now desperately begging for some aid, but that's not coming. Back here, medical supplies up for Findeed. We got mobile assault up for CreativeName. Getting ready to shoot some Huns and possibly burn them. Sappers on the way there, probably take advantage amongst other things of the flamethrowers. Trot on the way for Findeed. Could be a bad group headquarters, could be mechanized ready, a bit hard to hear what Findeed is playing at. I mean, there's obviously going to be Jaeger-like infantry recon squads, but beyond that, it's a bit more tricky to say what exactly Findeed is playing here against CreativeName. We haven't got our troops up, noting no bolted sections though, or any other upgrades as yet, no grenades, and no sign of Bren guns, of course. Flamethrowers like going to be on the plan there. 2 medics supplies up. Kuban open the section here. Findeed going to set up their note. For an Oberkommandos player at this point, he would usually have more infantry, but of course because he's planning on going heavy on the Jaeger infantry, which is becoming an Oberkommando West strategy, he's obviously going to try and preserve manpower, and then you just churn them out. And there you go. Arriving here and getting the sappers out in the open. Doesn't quite have missions for the G43 sniper rifle. This course going to need more. We've got Cool Running in the section here. Jaeger's being slowly surrounding it to retreat soon. Cool Running on the Jaeger's course means it's going to be at least, 15 seconds more from calling another Jaeger squad. In this case, they just called in the thick of it, so they weren't able to do a lot of damage while they themselves got focused down. So overall, not the most effective situation there for Findeed, truth be told. Sabotaging northwards. Truck going to set up here for Findeed. It's going to be in the mechanized regiments. Likely it looks maybe a Puma actually. Since, in these types of situations, if your opponent senses a mechanized regiment, he's just going to go for the AC, which just, breaks the neck of the looks. So it's going to look like here Puma most likely, unless Findeed is really confident he can ensure the looks does not immediately annihilated here by CreativeName. Healing going on there, Storm Pioneers moving up so far, not a single kill, just a bunch of damage. Mechanized Regiment almost done here for Findeed. And the 12th SS here against the 11th Armored. Section moving about. We got bolted section up there for CreativeName. Very standard British strategy. And there you go, second Jaeger squad as well here for Findeed. There's going to be 2 of them. And then you're going to begin upgrading G for the fleas on the Jaegers if he wants to, which he probably will. Storm Pioneer versus double section, they're going to need support. Findeed, of course, versus an infantry heavy strategy for his opponent, probably wants to consider an MG34 if not 2 to help contain all this infantry. As for CreativeName, as Findeed has more infantry himself, a machine gun for him as well would not be a half bad idea either. We'll of course have to see what they end up at. Flares popping off here, alerting Findeed what's going on, though right now he's focused on the very large glob of British infantry by the centre victory point. Trying to deal with them up north, and up north here we got to push for the fuel point here. Jaegers for the Kuban backing up here, threatening CreativeName's fuel, and there you go, section in the centre routed. He is in fact going for the machine gun to help counter Findeed's flood of troops here. The Jaegers quartering northwards. And we got, there we go, Vickers halfway done. No sign of requisitions here by CreativeName. And sappers are routed. He does not wish to extend them too long up in the north, could risk getting them wiped if he isn't careful. And Mechanized Regiment stands ready. Looks is not far off, but again, Puma could be a bet. Then again, I mean, there's the potential if Findeed's going to push for looks anyways to force an AC out there, that way slowing down CreativeName's tech, because otherwise CreativeName does have the option of just taking hit really fast. There's one thing worth keeping in mind about the British: they are the faction that can tech the fastest. Due to overall having fewer tiers, having essentially what amounts to 2, and additionally they're just kind of cheaper, and plus you don't have to withdraw units to build them either, so they're just really efficient in that sense as well. Troops saying northwards here, jump on. There we go, briefly consider the Puma, but ends up going for the looks here. So again, he might be trying to bait out an AC, or if CreativeName decides to stick it out, I mean, he's just going to obviously just try and harm CreativeName as much as possible. Jaegers here finding a lot. There you go, Vickers, Samples moving up here. He's going to rush that Jaeger position and rout them. Obviously very nice push here. Also good use of the machine gun there. Some players tend to play their machine guns very passively, but generally you want heavy machine guns to support attacks, since it can make it harder for your defending opponents to then maneuver about. And it's also just good to quickly turn about. They say they've launched a counter attack from some other angle. The machine gun can be used to shut that down. A Kedmare for there, on the way for Findeed as well, so he's obviously anticipating the AC. Of course, he's not just going to go for the looks and not anticipate, figure his opponent's not going to go for a counter. I mean, that would be pretty arrogant of Findeed to do that. Troops healing reinforcing. Storm Pioneer's also going to need reinforcement. Kuban's going to need some fixing. And looks they're about to get ready. Jaegers up north are getting overwhelmed here by the sheer numbers of CreativeName. Having by the way seized both fuel points away here from Findeed. But Findeed is ready for the counter attack to push them back in the name of the fatherland. NC. But the Vickers machine gun is nicer set up, can sort of cover a nice bit of ground, but there you go. Luke's pulling ahead, needs to be mindful of the sappers with their heat grenades there. And seems like in this case Findeed decides he doesn't care. And CreativeName seemingly is just going to stick to the anti-tank gun, feeling confident with the sappers and anti-tank guns in dealing with this light armoured threat here from Findeed and the 12th SS. Forces moving from the north here, and there you go, enveloping the machine gun position. CreativeName is forced to abandon the machine gun nest and retreat, lest he risks losing it or even handing it over to Findeed, which would definitely bad news there for CreativeName. Great though for Findeed, great for him. Still, he's got both fuel points here still connected, and that does allow him to basically use this to push ahead fast for medium armour, which is probably again what looks there to try and force out the AC again, that way stalling out the medium armour. But CreativeName here clearly has other thoughts in mind and is going to do his best here not to get baited into that. So bold moves here from both players. We'll have to see which one works out the best. Folks are standing about in the centre. In the south point they're being secured as well. He could consider them sandbags, so make it easy for him to defend. Looks almost good to go. Second truck out, that'll be the Battle Group headquarters. Will slow down tech a bit for the Schwerpanzert quarters. Not by a lot. but it does mean it's going more, I think, more important than further previously, to actually control the fuel and ensure that the CreativeName does not push for the tanks, because again, it does not take that Luke's then react to it with an AC. He's going to be able to push very fast ahead for the tank, particularly with that fuel control. So Findeed cannot afford to fall much further behind and has to control the fuel flow to CreativeName much more aggressively. He has to essentially throttle him. Whoa. What happened there, Terrence? I don't know, I just got stuck. In time. In time? It happens, you know. Bloody Canadians. Anyway, section moving up, you're taking fire from the Looks. Jaeger's holding up here inside the house, doing some damage. They're picking off men there with the G43 rifle. Victory Pawns wise, Findeed, though, does have a nice lead here with CreativeName. And the 11th Armored. Love to see how much more Findeed makes use of the doctrines. So far we got the flares, then we got the Jaegers. No Goliaths, no for the Fatherlands, no howitzers, and no sector assaults. Looks with 1 kill so far. Medics on the way there for Findeed and the Fatherland. Cool sneaking about here in the rear lines. We got a second sapper section up for CreativeName. Might be minesweepers, or might just be more flamethrowers, truth be told. I mean, either way, it does go more sappers, meaning more repairs, and of course, more anti-tank grenades, meaning more ways to snare up any vehicles and tanks Findeed might have. Harassment taking their cut off, and you could see the Looks there being blown to bits. Got to be a minor loss there for Findeed. Looks hanging about in the south center post there, slowly advancing for CreativeName. He's so far not making any overt moves anywhere, but the Kuban does go down. Interesting enough, CreativeName is yet to take up, though he's clearly got the resources for it. Troops are being slowly shot and burned at, meaning they can't get out of the way of the flamethrowers. They can't stop it either, so forced to essentially fall back. Here we've got 6-5 got sectioning about. Who looks hammering away, trying to prevent any further push in the south here for CreativeName, but the centre is very much buckling under the pressure. In the north we got a standoff here. Seem to be so far slowing one by CreativeName, but as soon as they get enough damage into the Jaegers, should be able to turn that one around. Back here, more healing enforcement, more troops into the north here. Findeed's going to launch an assault there for the Fatherland. In the south, Lux is falling back here, giving CreativeName a full run there for the centre and south. An interesting move there by Findeed. We'll have to see if this pays off. This gambit of trying to switch from south to north here. And CreativeName is finally taking up. The machine gun I still think would be a great choice here for Findeed to help slow down some of CreativeName's infantry. But so far Findeed seems to be a no machine gun guy. Looks being to clear out these sandbags. That's going to be a long procedure. I think just better off trying to drive over them. But I'm not sure if Lucas can crush sandbags. All the way mounts down here from Findeed. Centre is being well held here by CreativeName. He's not particularly digging in very hard. Findeed responding here with a lot of infantry gun to help deal with that machine gun. That's a good choice there. Plus can lay down smoke screens if you remember to use them. Then that would be used to cut the salt. Kubang being salvaged for a bit extra fuel. Very nice. CreativeName is slowing towards his first tank. Could be a Centaur or could be a Cromwell. Back here in enforcement, got the lighter infantry shoots up there for Findeed. Note the 18 of the name is meant to sort of make it look like it was, you know, started production in 1918, but that was actually a message, you know, fool the Allies. It was actually much later. Little fun note there. Troops retreating here in the face of German infantry in the east. 6-pounder gun repositioning. I mean, the smoke gun I think have done the job just as well, but faster, of course, allowed to push infantry ahead more efficiently. There you go, mine goes off. Looks in the order from the south, be carefully. With a 6-pounder gun above, of course, if he gets hit with an anti-tank grenade, Lux could end up very quickly in a bad spot. Storm Pun sitting up north. More troops nearby could all support. There we got the Jaegers, Veteran 2, very good. In the centre moving up, he's being stopped here by CreativeName's machine gun. Very good play in the south. He's trying to stall up there as well. Until the father ring down, could do some damage here. Fuel there cut off, and CreativeName able to push out his first tank. He's stuck to his strategy, and so far it's working out. He's still maintaining good map control, and he's getting out the first medium tank. Excellent play there by CreativeName. Vickers continue to be an absolute menace here, and there you go on the west. Forced to fall back in the face of the light infantry gun. I think very good choice there by Findeed. Light infantry guns, I think, have to be slight degree been forgotten a bit by some mobile commandos players, but they can still be pretty good in the right-hand player's hands. Jaegers advancing until far raining down here, but CreativeName has already pulled back. Machine gun very good, it was low on health. Cromwell there almost done, and Findeed's going to need more tank weapons to stop a Cromwell. A single Arcadian is not quite going to cut it. So we'll have to see how rapidly Findeed reacts to the arrival of the Cromwell cruiser tank, which was named a cruiser tank because that was how British tank doctrine initially worked. They had the infantry tanks, they had the cruiser tanks, and then they had the light tanks. Cruiser tanks were basically sort of meant to exploit any breakthroughs in the light, and you just cruise through. Whereas infantry tanks were meant to, support the infantry to up fortification, like absorbing fire. Cromwell moving out, he's going straight for the looks after his Panzer, and that's going to give Findeed there quite a nasty time. I doubt he's going to be able to escape with the gun remaining out. There you go. He might be able to bed into the mine. Oh, no. And didn't. Looks like he CreativeName figured this spot would be mined. Not a bad read on the situation at all. I mean, points like these tend to be mined by some players, so I'm figuring, you know what, my opponent might just have mined it. Might as well just slightly drive next to it just in case he has. In this case, I mean, he got hit by the mine there, he probably would have lost the tank, but because of that, boom. Nice play there, CreativeName. Good tactical sense. Cromwell out, flanking the forces. Oh, they're bunched up. Oh no. That's a really bad run with them. They got blasted like that, and there we go, routed. CreativeName in a really strong position. Findeed got the Schwerer Panzer quarters up. Sturmpanzer riding sappers. Down here, nothing further going on there for CreativeName company command post, and Findeed is in fact bringing up a second Arcadian effort to help deal with this British armoured threat. Right now, though, Findeed is very much on the defensive. CreativeName has very much won the game heavily in his favour here. The arrival of the Cromwell Mark IV. It was based on the Centaur tank, which actually never really saw any service except as an anti-aircraft tank. Little fun fact. And would later be replaced by the Comet, essentially, which, by the way, never itself saw a long period of service before that was then replaced, I believe, by, I think it was the Chieftain? Or something else, I can't remember. Anyways. Killer firing gun, machine gun, CreativeName needs to get precision, and we got grenades for level of CreativeName, making things more difficult here for Findeed's troops. Machine gun routed. We're moving ahead, troops reinforcing healing, and we got to push down here into the centre again. Findeed, though, is sounding like making a lot of progress. He might want to consider some deeper flanks here against creative position rather than just attacking head on, truth be told. Needs to launch some shock and surprise here. But we got here sector assault now available for Findeed. Good enough for some nasty attacks here if caught near well versus CreativeName. Jaegers flanking in here through the large manor here. Getting up behind the section and opening up. Very nice play there, in fact close to Veterancy Fleet. Well, there you go, return grenade, a Miller's bomb goes off, and, or Miller's bomb, not Miller's, but Mills. Dodges it and seems to be having a bit of a hard time getting back into the place. Jürgen, did you remember the key? Ah, scheiße. I think we may have locked ourselves out. Troops get back for healing reinforcement for Findeed. Armour still some time away. Meanwhile, CreativeName has still controls both fuel points, meaning he can quickly go for another tank. But there you go. McKenna on the Cromwell here. Jaeger still remaining inside the hide. Hold in, there you go. Schwer Punch calls landing off some hits at Cromwell. Small chance of going down, but overall I predicted. Close one though, very close. Biggest crew, they're getting blasted a bit there by the lighter infantry Geschütz. And go back inside up here, but this time there's sappers about with flamethrowers. Not really the place you want to be hiding in then there. Back here, healing reinforcement for CreativeName, troops reinforcing as well. We got the Cromwell there, need repairs. Jaegers advancing in the centre up north. The Jaegers probably should just retreat. And Findeed again really needs to, I think, focus more on the resource. I think he's focusing on the centre victory point and not much on the fuel points, which again really means that CreativeName can just begin pressing hard on the tank button. Sector sold up, he'd up defend the car point, also catch some of CreativeName's forces in a bad spot. Of course, he still kind of needs some liners, I believe, but there you go, aircraft going in. We'll have to see how this works out. So far, though, CreativeName does not quite seem to care that it's called in. Then hence units might in fact get blasted into bits. And there you go. First strafe and first bombing run. Blows apart most of the scenery, but not much else really there. But it does kind of keep CreativeName a bit closer to his base. They can't move about freely. So I guess that's part of the point. They just to pin down CreativeName a bit. Troops getting suppressed here. Trying to destroy the 6-pounder gun, not a bad idea. Up north, his jump out with the sappers, need to retreat. Bomber keeping flying about there. As long as CreativeName doesn't get too close, it's going to be safe. And there you go, second Cromwell out. CreativeName is in a really strong position now with 2 medium tanks. Findeed's going to have to go for a Panther here, I think, to have the best chance. He could also go for the Arc Panzer, but a Panther 4 would be like a really bad choice here since it simply cannot match the firepower or threaten the Cromwells well enough. So Findeed's going to have to stall here for a Panther now. So I think really fight on with these Cromwells. Up north, Cromwell heading northwards there. And of course, CreativeName's going to have to anticipate this move and sort of bring up more anti-tank weapons to just bring up a lot more Cromwells. And go, bombing run dip golf here in the centre. In this case, though, did not seem to have much of an impact than CreativeName's troops. Lucky for him. Going for the fuel point there as he reclaims it. He's immediately getting lost there to CreativeName once more. Bit of bad development for Findeed and the Fatherland. No, he does go for the Panzer IV. He does go for it. Oh dear. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's going to be really challenging to really have a chance. Whoa, what? Apparently there was one to go? That's cheeky. Occasionally that can be a bit weird with some of these air abilities. That sometimes the aircraft can still linger about and still end up, you know, doing something even after the ability's worn off. So that can be a bit awkward at times. Still end up not being too catastrophic here for CreativeName, so lucky for him, I guess. But still, Panther 4 versus 2 Cromwells is a bit of a gambit. So the Cromwells can all match more firepower against that one Panzer 4. So even though the Panzer 4 has more armour, that's the Cromwells. If you got 2 Cromwells with roughly the same rate of fire firing out, it's just statistically you're more likely to get hit and penetrated, and you'll take more damage faster than the Cromwells are. So it's not what I'd recommend. But there we are. Panzer 4, they're arming here for Findeed and the 12th SS. The Model J, which was the last model of Panzer 4. So roughly I think from mid 1944 to the end of the war there. Had several simplifications to overall make production faster. Part of it was also just because they're running out of resources and sort of had to, you know, cut things. Like for example, they had to cut the generator turret for the Panzer IV because lacking resources for it. Panzer moving ahead and getting the Cromwell there. Shoots and misses. Shot fired. Panzer's off the Panzer IV's armour. A late model Panzer IV bomber had 80mm of non-sloped armour, whereas the Cromwells I think had 60mm. Little fun fact. You can see the defending, but again inside the house they're not the most effective defenders, and there you go. On the other hand, they're really great grenade targets. But in this case, he was trying to bait him out into the open. Bit of I think of a tall order there for CreativeName until they continue to damage. 9 kills, really doing well there. Veteran 2, and there you go. Jaegers with Veteran 3 up north. Panther 4 continuing to fight on its own, but decides to finally pull back, and they're probably the best choice. And they got 25-pounder gun signing off here for CreativeName. Nothing further going to his base. We've got no weapon racks, so of course we've got the grenades. And no specializations either. Scram's going to send here in the south. They also got a flank over the section. Very nice. And finally, Findeed is almost at the 24-minute mark, going for an MG34. Probably could have done with that one a lot sooner, truth be told. Panther 4 going here for the section, opening up there. And there you go, MG34 out. Cromwell sitting back there with the tank commander. Section machine gun sneaking about, and back here troops sitting reinforcing. Panther 4 in the south, standing about. Bit on its own, bit blind actually, a bit risky there. There you go, both Cromwells there, Sentinel team to going straight for it. Findeed is quick to fall back. The Sentinel also got the sappers here with the anti-tank grenades. Again, one wrong move, and that Panzer 4 could be in a lot of trouble. There you go, Savage retreat, Panther 4 moving in. The Arcade map was following up here. There you go, shots fired. Panther 4 takes one penetrating hit, the other bounces. In the center section moving up, getting pinned down here by machine gun fire. And artillery fire raining down in the rear line. We've got the trench up for CreativeName to provide up for the machine gun to cover the center. Nice move there. Of course, also artillery target, but it's going to take some time for the light infantry to clear that one out. Push forwards here. Jaegers getting suppressed quickly by the machine gun. Up north here, we got grenades off against the Jaegers, but they quickly dodge it, leaving the section now, I think, to die here, since those are virtually 3, almost 4 Jaegers versus a low health section, and we can see that CreativeName takes that hint and retreats. But Ken with the strength to mine right in front of sappers and section. That's going to be a quick route there for Findeed in the centre. Panther moving up the straight from the Cromwell here. Lands a nice hit. 1-on-1, of course, the Panther 4 will have the advantage, but versus just larger numbers of tanks, the Panther 4 will at some point find themselves struggling. Still nothing for here for CreativeName. He could go for the Firefly to help deal with the Panther 4, at least aided. Or he could theoretically, go for specialization, either Comets or, Churchill tanks. And the Churchill tank would definitely be a threat here against the Panther 4, which can't really penetrate its thick hide. Comet, of course, also would. Since it's also got more on, but also, a good gun. So we'll have to see what it ends up with here. More grenades up north. Once more dodge. We've got 2 Jaeger squads inbound here against that one section. There you go. Casualties quickly going to pile up. If they stay for much longer, already poor Timmy is dead.
Our capture point. They're trying to
Back here, building up for another push. Findeed slowly sidles about, and we got the Cromwell northwards here, racing forwards to counter the Han threat here in the north. He strikes in the south, that point being secured as well. Jaegers crumbling about in the centre point, the MBCs as well, and around here troops being suppressed by the MG34, veteran 2 there, or veteran 1 gained 2 kills. Push to the south victory points wise, it's a bit of a lead now to CreativeName over Findeed. And section they're forced to retreat. That is probably about time, since that Panther 4 can do a lot of damage. Particularly backed up by folks. Gonna be a Stewart Punish joining as well, the Barbie veteran 3 really good. Cromwell moving in. And nasty at the Stewart Pioneers, centre point being seized here. CreativeName dispatching forces northwards. Back at the base. Oh, we got Anvil Tactics. So that's going to be Churchill's here for CreativeName. That's definitely going to force Findeed to consider something else besides Panther 4s, because the Panther 4s definitely do not do well against the Churchill tanks. That's going to be Yak Panthers or Panthers. But as it currently looks like, he's going to have the Panther 4 faster here than the Churchill, meaning he's going to commit it into 2 Panther 4s. But as a Churchill, that's going to be great there for CreativeName once then caught in the Churchill. I mean, the Comet have also been good, but again, in this case, the Churchill's thick hide just really nullifies Panther 4 heavy builds. Of course, on the other hand, they struggle much more, stuff like Panthers and Yak Panthers, and then that's where the Comet is a bit better. But again, if your opponent commits to 2 Panther 4s to take out the first Churchill, I mean, that's pretty great for you. Section being rounded here, machine gun opening up. Back and forth here between Findeed and CreativeName up north in particular. Jaegers once more being dispatched. We got veteran 4 on one squad, closing in on the ace level. Second Panther 4 ray gun machine gun holding up here in the mansion. The manor house. Panther 4 effects bereit. And I'm going to pin him up machine gun there as well. Very good. And this south field when they're being attacked by the British victory pot as well. And we got the Cromwells moving in to deal with that. Hun tank. Rolling forward, Panther 4 slightly falling back, trying to ensure. Oh, mine went off. Panther 4 dispatched northward so it can't support its comrade there, otherwise we could probably just won this engagement quite hard and actually I think done some quite nasty damage to CreativeName. But up north, Panther 4's rolling in, damage engine. Baker slowly being blasted out, it's going to have to fall back soon. Or he's going to have to accept as a casualty. Oh, Panther 4 misses that one spectacularly. Ace machine gun crew desperately trying to find a way out of there. Hits retreat, but probably taking a slightly longer route. Might get knocked out here with the machine guns on the tank. Yup, wiped. That's a bit of loss for CreativeName. Think you can either salvage it or use it as well here against CreativeName as infantry. And there you go. First Churchill tank for CreativeName. That's going to put him in 3 tanks, 2 cruisers, and 1 infantry.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
We'll have to see what he does here. And that one. But Findeed's going to have to bring up some slightly bigger anti-tank weaponry there, either the Panther or the Jagdpanzer to take on the Churchill. Well, he's going to have to get really lucky, or CreativeName has to play the Churchill really badly. But there you go, crumbling northwards into the Panther. But there you go, a Kednev was waiting in ambush. But there you go, flanking the Panther 4 easily, getting to the rearmor. The Kednev turning back, Stone Panther moving in. There you go, Cromwell down, second Cromwell moving in. Other Panther 4 getting in there to support as well. Oh dear, CreativeName, I think, is so extending his hand. He's trying to commit, he's trying to take out that Panther 4, but he's risking losing another Cromwell. And the problem is, if he loses the Cromwell, even if he gets the other Panther 4, he's going to lose 2 Cromwells. And his opponent's going to have 2 Panther, or at least 1 Panther 4. And of course, if he doesn't get the Panther 4, lose the Cromwell, which again is likely, then he's going to be in a really awkward spot. But there you go. Actually, 2 on both medium tanks. Panther 4 dodges a shot, but there you go. Main gun out. Oh, snot biscuits. That Cromwell's going to go down here. And that's going to be a huge blow here to CreativeName, and that's going to be a huge victory for Findeed. I mean, the Churchill's still going to be an absolute bastard to deal with, but he's still just taking out 2 of his opponent's medium tanks. That's going to be none less big, and that's going to make it easier for him to contain the Churchill tank, since it's now going to be much more isolated. So, big loss for CreativeName. Big loss. Churchill northwards, though. Rapidly rushing ahead here. Kednev is heading up, but there you go, penetrating hit. But has to retreat. Finding around the centre south here, Sappers being routed. Troops being suppressed. Noting that Findeed in there nap the Vickers machine gun with his Jaegers. Panther 4 rolling back, other Panther 4 there, probably something about to cover it a bit. We got 2 running down here to try and slow down Findeed's advance. Very good there by CreativeName. Panther 4 there, up against the Churchill. But again, it's not a very equal engagement. There you go, Panther 4 down to the Churchill, and the Churchill is basically taking no damage. Again, it has a lot of health, it has a lot of armour. Versus Panther 4s, it is very much favored because of that. But of course, once Panthers and Jagdpanzers arrive, of course, things go slightly against that. Section retreating. So Findeed's going to have to go for the Panther here, and CreativeName's going to have to bring up either Fireflies and take tank guns to back up the Churchill versus those. Troops heading northwards here, heading for the fuel point. Big 2 points wise, it's a lead here for CreativeName over Findeed still. Machine backing up the Jaegers to push in there. Routing CreativeName's unfortunate sections. Churchill moving about, machine moving up, Sappers routed. So only a few decisions to be made here. Back here, healing enforcement, still no weapon racks for CreativeName, though again, munitions are likely heading for other things. Mines or sandbags going up, they're very good. Panzer IV mobilised. Machine gun Jaegers nearby, and there you go, suppressing the British defenders. As the tank moves ahead, very nice minor tactical push here by Findeed. Causing the collapse here of CreativeName's northern frontage, since he's got absolutely nothing to assist the tank with. Centre there being very aggressively held there by Findeed with a lot of infantry and tank weapons. He's closing in on the Panther. He's obviously not going for another Panther 4. Here's Findeed knows at this stage going for another Panther 4 would just be feeding the Churchill tank. And likely CreativeName, of course, we're getting other stuff to back it up. I mean, he could just go for more Churchills, just hope to steamroll Findeed with that, but I'd expect a Firefly or something like that to back it up versus any heavier armour. Panther engagement, we've got the Kednev opening up there, nicely seized here by CreativeName's Sappers, turning the once German weapon against his former owners. South there collapsing in the face of CreativeName's armour infantry assault. And the centre sampling hit, they're getting blasted as well. And very much routing. There you go, Findeed's got the Panther on the way. Panzerkampfwagen 5 gefechtsbereit. Jaeger sending up, Panzer IV moving in, getting the section out in the open here. Focus arriving as well on the scene. Troops getting blasted. Panther halfway done here for Findeed for the 12th SS. Got the church moving in there, close to veterans 1. Panther 4 taking heavy from like Kedneff again there. Kedneff got the Churchill again. It's just so heavy in terms of health and armour. There we go, another sector assault here for Findeed, with nothing to tie down his opponent with. I think it's going to quickly move out of there, in which case it's going to be wasted. But of course, it does create a no-go zone for CreativeName, which of course can be just as helpful there for Findeed. There we go. Camp out here for Findeed, the Panzerkampfwagen 5, the Model A, which will sort of be in between model between the first one and the last one. The last model being the Model D, which was roughly sort of in ready for a time by the fighting in Normandy. It was also the most produced model of Panther. Up here you got the Indy-14 with the sappers, quickly pinning them down. Holding the frontage there. All of his the question is for how long. Panther with machine gun support, Jaeger's nearby as well. Should add the pinlock machine there to the Panther whenever possible, since it does add a nice source of extra damage for the Panther versus infantry. And we've got North Churchill strikes, returning to the Panther 4. He's going to have to dispatch the Panther up there to help versus the Churchill tank. We got the strikes possibly going in already, and there you go, pushing up as well. Seems like CreativeName decided he doesn't care about that potential bombing run. He's going to push forward, there you go, pin down. Hits a mine here with the Churchill, that's pretty bad. Panther moving inbound. There might be a chance to take it out, there might just be a chance.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Panther 4 going for it, Panther moving in, Churchill here, setting out for something. Panther running, Kedneff moving out, need to be careful here with the Panther and the Panther 4. Another Churchill for CreativeName, no signs of fireflies, despite the arrival of the Panther.
We're losing a capture point.
Seems like CreativeName is sticking to his own plans here. Panther 4 moving in, Panther sticking back, Jaeger's moving up from the spot for an anti-tank weapons like say like Kedneff. And there you go, immediately gets a kill. Troops getting obliterated. Churchill hangs back. A Kedneff crew there being annihilated by the Jaegers. That is not good there for CreativeName, but it's great for Findeed. Now he can push for the Churchill with his Panther. Second Churchill halfway done. Panther is not moving forwards. That's, I would say, an opportunity lost there by Findeed. Oh, there you go. Advancing for the fatherland. Should be spotting the Churchill anytime soon. There you go, engaging. Got a bit too close, so that gives you the chances the Churchill can actually penetrate the Panther frontal armour. Second Churchill is almost done. There you go, low on health, Kedneff moving up. He's to fall back with the Panther now. There's, I think, too much also the potential for the Sappers, probably not a tank grenade, but he's really close taking the Churchill there. Had he moved forwards earlier, he probably could have taken out the Churchill, but now it's kind of too late. And he actually risked the Panther going down as Nike just pursued more easily with the damaged engine. Troops are flanking out, need to get the Panther 4 to back up, cover up and screen. He might need some more infantry as well here because the Panther's right now deeply exposed. I'm a bit surprised not sending the Panther 4 to maybe support just a bit, but that's that. Machine gun there wiped out. Sectional's being wiped out. In the face of everything. In the south, we've got a big push going through, machine gun holding up inside the house, but might not last long enough. Lots of back and forth here. Churchill continues to advance. A rolling assault there. My apologies, just had to quickly check if there's something running in the background, something out of these sources. Can't quite seem to find whatever's causing it. Time for the rolling back. Closing in Metsi Fleet, but yeah, it does make it that far. And now the Panther's in a lot of trouble here for Findeed. A lot of trouble. He's going to do something soon. Oh, he accidentally exposed the rear to the Churchill. A main gun out. This is really turning terrible there for Findeed versus CreativeName. This is pretty big for CreativeName. Taking out the Panther 4, and he's now taking out the Panther as well. And he's not lost a single Churchill. That is massive. And there you go. Panther goes up in flames. Findeed now forced to commit to Jagdpanzer to stop all of this from being, unleashed against him too much. You still got a big 2-point lead now, still controlled most of the map, but the situation for Findeed just got a lot more uncomfortable. A lot more nasty. CreativeName very much now has the chances, I think, seriously steamrolled Findeed with the sheer weight of the Churchills. Put the thing around the Kedneff setting up there, go good hit on the Churchill tank. The Kedneff for number 3 done, so we see that Findeed is just basically forcing out a lot more into the tank now, trying to stop the Churchill tanks. We're just running together here in a small, heavily armoured platoon. Which is going to give Findeed a bit of a problem.
We're down to 100 points now.
100 points left here though. Findeed's going to have to fight, I think, a lot harder for the victory points here. It's probably increasing his best chance to win this. Because the way things are looking in terms of armour, he's not, I think, going to have a chance of making a break for them unless CreativeName does something really silly. So he might have to just try and, play around them, exploit their slow speed. He just keeps zipping around between victory points. He just sees them. And that way just win the fight against CreativeName that way. I mean, he's got 194 versus 98, so there's a chance he can win through that. But it's only going to be a high-risk venture here for Findeed versus CreativeName. Troops heading north there. We got Jaegers, we got Volkskommunists on the move. Totally called in here. Section retreating in the face of the Volkskommunists and the Jaegers. And we got artillery roaring off here versus Findeed. Line for gun there by the Veteran 3, close to Veteran 4. Very good work with that one so far. Nice work over there by Findeed. Got the Church moving about. Can't quite seem to decide where they want to go. Big push here, but we got a machine gun waiting up there. It's an MG34 seized from Findeed. No grenades here, by the way, easily available to flush through either. This is a bad push there for Findeed. He does seem to be getting slightly more desperate and aggressive here versus CreativeName, but he's not giving up. He's fighting. Lots of cannon from the Churchill tanks. Yak Panzer's only about to help deal with it. Forcing a retreat here for CreativeName for the time being. Folks in the centre versus triple sections. Still pinned down here, hoping for the fires to kill the machine gun. That's clearly not working out there for Findeed in the slightest. Jagdpanzer, by the way, not a single penetrating hit on those Churchill tanks. 98 versus 150. Fire raining down a bit here and there. South is an active area open there. Findeed can have some progress there, but sneaking up and doing some damage. It seems like CreativeName's realising the south is actually obviously subtracting one Churchill tank to essentially act as an anchor point. They can quickly form a defence around. Sapper section up north. Jagdpanzer slowly moving about there with its high velocity 75mm gun. Same as the one used in the Panther, where in game the stats are not quite nearly as good. Though it does have more range and high rate of fire, but isn't done quite as much penetration on the other hand. Push here to the fire raining down, but CreativeName's all moved up. We got another Jaeger squad arriving. As soon as he realises that, he takes the opening there and pushes to gain that northern point. Section in glass of flames off, grenades off as well there. Findeed is committing a lot on there. You go. We could see a section being wiped out here for CreativeName. A bit of loss here at this stage, but at the same time, he still has two heavy tanks. And there you go, more troops joining into the south to defend there. Unit wiped. Can Findeed use the tank to push around there? Go. Churchill tank taking heavy damage. Down to half health. Kedenovs, the Jagdpanzer's opening up there. Go. Penetrating, hit smoke screen down to cover up the retreat here to escape the wrath of the Wehrmacht. And we got a third Churchill for CreativeName. A third Churchill tank. That is absolutely bonkers. Troops in reinforcing. Jaegers at half size, forced retreat here. Grab the point here as well. Lots of munition for Findeed, sadly no ability usage besides that sector assault mode teleport I'm using for the father when I actually had a good ground to defend. Third Churchill there, almost done. This is going to get very uncomfortable thing here for Findeed.
Reports coming in suggest the enemy is down to
75 points left. CreativeName is once more in the lead here over Findeed in terms of victory points. We got lots of smoke there going off inside to help repair stuff up there, using the vehicle repair abilities, and there you go. Third Churchill tank up. Third, that is a lot of heavy armour here against Findeed. He might be forced out to go for a second Jagdpanzer to have a chance against all of these heavy tanks. That's going to be a rare sight. I mean, triple Churchills and double Jagdpanzers is not something you see every day in a 1 versus 1. Churchill advancing against range of the kidnappers. Line of fire. In north is against the foot companies. Yak Panzer moving about. There you go, first came landing here in the Churchill tank, closing in 82 Sturm, panic rush in the section in the south, betting full bother, actually pretty good. Doing a lot of damage, so they gain a fat 40% action bonus, I believe, with veteran 4. There you go, routed. And close getting wiped out, there'll be huge loss here. Yak Panzer occupying on the north against the other Churchill, basically Findeed's getting no firepower conflict anywhere. Churchill tank down to half health as the kidnappers are piercing the rear armor at close range pretty aggressively. Veteran 2 they gain on another Churchill tank, the first one is closing in on veteran 3. Rolling around those and the tank guns, popping grenades, clearing up both the kidnappers. Yak Panzer up north here, about to get swarmed. This is turning into a complete mess. There you go, main gun on the Yak Panzer out. And the Yak Panzer is down. Theoretically, could have tried storming for a King Tiger, but at this stage, nothing's good. We got Sector Assault on the south to somehow do something against CreativeName there, but at this stage, it kind of seems like Findeed is flailing a bit about here against CreativeName, truth be told. I do not see Findeed honestly stopping 3 Churchill tanks. He killed most of CreativeName's infantry, which is something, but he's still up against 3 Churchill tanks, including one now at the ace level. Not really the ace level for those two, a lot. They're basically going to pick criticals alone, that's it. Victory points is also something Findeed is bleeding out fast. Pop goes that one. Churchill moving ahead here, bombarding Findeed's forces. Oh, dealing up here with the troops there. There we go. Line gun down, like about to go down. 47 points left for Findeed. Findeed making for another push there. The aircraft having basically wasted fuel there, pulling back now. Ace Churchill and Norfolks to defend the point there against the Aegis. We're quickly moving in. 41 points left. More sappers for CreativeName to repair all of his tanks. So of course the self-repair abilities all he got. 39 points left. Jaeger's about to get murdered. Findeed's closing in with King Tiger. And there you go. Jaeger unit annihilated around the center point. South they're being assaulted. Section they're simply undergunned compared to the swarm of Jaegers approaching. Also note these are the remaining Jaegers for these got at the moment. Churchill rolling ahead here. 34 kills. Or 32. 4 victory points. I don't know. 32 victory points here for Findeed. Grenading up beautiful there. Got a grenade off from Findeed. Sturm Pioneers routed. Ace by the way. Very good work there. 26. 24. Jaeger sending worse than away from the victory point by a misclick there. Not enough munition there for a grenade for CreativeName. Others could have probably pushed away those folk committees easier. 18 points left for Findeed. 16. 15. Churchill tank there being rapidly fixed up as fast as CreativeName can manage it. 14 points. It's more or less, I think, GG here for Findeed, truth be told. Churchill into the base here, Findeed. Murdering what remains. Troops are being suppressed. And ever so slightly murdered. Routed in the south, got the Churchill coming in there with infantry as well. 14 points left here for Findeed still. Jaegers forming up a desperate last-ditch defense here for the fatherland. 13 kills, or 13 victory points. Don't get a bit tired here. And likely a grenade off here, there we go. There we go, units being annihilated. 10 points left. Churchill with a damaged engine, but inside Findeed's base, I do not think it's going to matter one jot. 7 points left. 6. 4. 2. And game over. An absolutely nasty battle here between Findeed and CreativeName. I think like Findeed could early on done with some machines to help slow down CreativeName's play. Then the looks in the end did not quite pay off there. I think that Findeed ended up being a bit of waste. They probably bit off just going for the Battle Group headquarters, then for straight out punted quarters faster himself. And that second Panzer IV, I think, also ended up as a bit of a mistake. There were also some issues there with armor handling for Findeed, which also paid off nice for CreativeName. I do feel like some orbs were darting and some mines could also be great here and there versus CreativeName. But overall, I mean, nicely played by both, and then CreativeName just played better, and those Churchills proved out to be absolutely formidable opponents, which Findeed could not easily deal with, and in the end he got steamrolled by them hard. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. And if you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Links are in the video description. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.